I'm Marielle of Craft M&L, and today we're going to be making a mini acrylic painting. Let's start off with our tools. So first we have our canvas board, and as you can see, we've already prepared a floral design for you. We've also got our mini easel, which we're going to be using for display purposes. We also have our paint brushes. We have both a fine round brush as well as a wider flat brush. Of course, we also have our mixing palette where we'll be applying the colors and mixing. We also have our acrylic paints, so each one of us gets a full set. And these are tube paints. We also have a washing cup with water. This is where we'll wash our brushes. So let's work on the background first. We'll start off with the green tube of paint. So there is an easier way of opening each tube. You might notice the cap has a pointed top or tip, which you can use to pierce the foil. So we're going to be using the flat brush, and we'll be applying the green with quick, short strokes. So please remember that the strokes don't even have to be applied evenly. We'd like to create depth through texture. And so as you can see, we're applying the paint in the quick, the short strokes and in an uneven way, which creates a bit of visual texture. The speed of this video has been doubled, so don't worry, you don't have to be painting this fast. So we are not covering the entire background with green, but just painting certain parts of it. It's up to you if you'd like to apply green to other parts of the background. Now we'll be layering on with blue. Similar to the way in which we applied green, we're putting blue on certain parts of the canvas and applying it in short strokes and in an uneven manner. There will be some areas wherein the colors overlap, and that will help us create some depth for the background. It's okay if part of the background overlaps with some of the foreground. Acrylic paint can be applied in a more opaque manner, so any lines that go over can be corrected later on. So after the dark blue, we're going to move to a lighter shade of blue. When it comes to acrylic paint, one way of using it is by using the darkest hues, or the darkest colors first, and then layering on the lighter colors. So which is what we're doing now. So we're adding a lighter shade of blue just to add more texture or visual texture and depth to the flatter parts of where the color was applied. We're going to be topping off the background layer with a bit of white. So the white will be applied on, and it goes on in a bit of a translucent manner, just creating a little more texture. Now we don't have to apply the white everywhere, just in certain areas where you think a little more texture is needed. So now let's work on the foreground. So the foreground is the two flowers. We'll start off with the darkest shade, so we're going to be starting off with the violet. We won't be painting the entire flower, but more of the areas wherein the darker part is expected. So more of in areas where there would be a shadow. So as you can see, we're focusing on the edges of the petals as well as the center. We're leaving some areas and towards the center of the petal for highlights. After the violet, we'll be putting on some white. So again, the white is going on in a bit of a translucent manner, but we're having it overlap with the violet as well. After the white, we'll be mixing a shade of pink. So we're going to be doing this by combining a tiny bit of red with white. You can mix this on your paint palette. Now for this part, it's all right to use the round brush if you'd like to. You can also stick to the flat brush if you feel more comfortable. But at this point, we're adding and keeping the pink to certain parts of the flower. So the change in brush also is reflected in the kind of strokes we're using. So in applying pink to certain areas, we are using both shorter and longer strokes. You'll observe that paint is not applied in a flat manner, or it's not applied evenly. So we're going after a more painterly, more textured effect for this particular painting. To further dry your brush, you can also use a bit of tissue paper instead of using your palm as what I'm doing in the video. So after the pink, we're adding some more violet, but this time just to emphasize the shadows or the darker parts of the flower. We're focusing on the edges as well as the lines on the petal. So by working on both shadows and highlights, we're able to bring more volume and depth to what we're painting. So after applying violet and emphasizing the shadows, we'll be working on the highlights. So we're topping off the foreground with one last layer of white. And to finish off the flowers, we'll be adding a bit of yellow. So we'll be dabbing this on to the round parts. And there you have it. Once the yellow part is done, the painting is finished. So let dry and display.